The beautiful verses of Isaiah that are our Yom Kippur morning Haftarah have always moved me deeply, reminding me of the reasons for my own conversion to Judaism. I grew up in a wealthy suburb on Philadelphia's main line, where, or so it seemed to teenage me, people were utterly indifferent to the suffering of the poor and the excluded and preoccupied with wealth and social status. They went to church to show off their fine clothes. They wanted to be seen as pious without thinking at all about what real piety requires. Around us, the civil rights movement was a burning flame, but in Bryn Mawr, you just didn't hear a thing about it. Nor were there any black or brown people anywhere around, and certainly no Jews or Muslims either. In my rebellion against my family and my surroundings, I linked the false piety I saw with Christianity, which put off justice to the other world. And I began to be drawn toward Judaism as a religion that focuses on justice in this world. I'm sure I sold Christianity short, but I was right about Judaism, and especially about Reform Judaism, the tradition that has always inspired me. This Haftarah captures in soaring poetry our tradition's imperative to act on behalf of justice. As Jews, we are called to serve the poor, the sick, migrants and asylum seekers, oppressed minorities, to treat workers and students fairly, to sacrifice our own comfort to make the place where we live a flourishing garden rather than a desert. All this is the fast that is real. But this, I feel, is the obvious part. These values are so central to our tradition that if we are here at all on Yom Kippur morning, we already know these things, whether we act on them or not. So now I want to ask a different question. If working for justice is our central value, and I think it is, why are we in the synagogue at all, fasting and participating in ritual acts of contrition? The Haftarah speaks so negatively about ritual and fasting that it almost seems that the prophet is saying, forget about all of that. That's not real. Only your actions are important. So, if actions are the main thing, as they are, what good are ritual and fasting? I do believe that one can be a good Jew without going to synagogue, by keeping the moral commandments and acting on them centrally in one's own life. But it's very difficult. Our world is so crowded, so noisy, so full of text messages, emails, and all of the incentives to self-promotion and narcissism that our society holds out to us, that it's virtually impossible to focus on the moral imperatives of Judaism without heroic self-discipline and dedicated times for personal meditation. Immanuel Kant, who thought that most existing churches focused on the wrong things, also said that every person has a duty to join a church of the right sort, focused on moral values of justice and world peace. Why? Because alone, each of us is very weak and easily distracted. The presence of others who strive for the same goals reinforces us in our dedication to those goals. But I would go beyond Kant and emphasize the ethical role of ritual itself. Its emotional structure moves and deepens our own emotions. Poetry and music are crucial avenues of self-searching and inner rededication to the just. When we listen to Cantor Berger sing the Haftarah in Anselm Rotshchild's beautiful setting, and especially when we listen along with others, we have an experience that would be virtually impossible to attain alone in our busy lives. We become, to use the biblical text's imagery, not like parched soil, but like a well-watered garden, out of which the plants that are our actions may healthfully grow. Shana Tova.
Is this the fast I asked you to keep? Is this the fast I asked for? Is this the fast I asked you to keep? Is this how God will hear you? By bowing your head like a bulrush, by sleeping on sackcloth and ash, by bowing your head like a bulrush, by crying of your small nature. Is not this the fast that I have chosen? To loosen the fetters of wickedness, to undo the bonds of the yoke, to let the oppressed go free, to break every yoke. So bring your food to the hungry, bring your bread to the poor, care for the orphan and the widow, clothe the naked too. Honor your duties to your family. Do this and you'll be blessed. Then shall your light break forth like the dawn, and you'll grow stronger as a wound that's newly healed. Then when you call your God, they will answer you.